Just before coming in here, Justice Kabir had a little talk with me, I also had. And he was mentioning with a lot of fondness one important point. Swamiji, I have something to talk to you. How to raise congregations like this above the orbit of religion so that people from all walks of life and sections of the community will be able to get involved. Isn't it? Absolutely. I am very much concerned about it. In fact, our FRNV, Foundation for Restoration of National Values, was formed only with this idea in mind. Whenever I think of the values and national values, particularly for India, let us understand very clearly that all our values can stand independently. We need not bring religion or even spirituality for that matter. Any value worthy of itself is meant to enrich, empower, elevate and expand the human inner personality. As is health and hygiene necessary for the body, you can interpret values in this manner. Whatever constitutes the health and hygiene of the mind and intelligence will be the value for that. Health and hygiene are necessary, indispensable for the preservation and promotion of health and agility of the body. In the same manner, values alone can nourish the mind as well as the intelligence. A valueless mind and valueless intelligence is bound to decline in its health, in their health, and degenerate. Let us be very clear about it. So far as India is concerned, we have a number of values, cardinal, fundamental as well as ultimate values. They stand quite independently. They make no reference to God. They do not refer to anything like the soul also. All values bear upon the human mind and the human intelligence. I would like to put it in this manner. A value, when properly presented, is bound to evoke an emotional persuasion in the listener or reader. Equally so, an intellectual compulsion. If a value is not able to evoke these two, then it cannot be accepted and adhered to and heeded by anybody as a value. So please understand, this is not a religious gathering at all. Somehow Ravi Mehrotra, he took a little fascination for me. I have been coming to Delhi for the past 36 years. This is the 37th year. He came apparently recently. And now, last year also he asked me to speak. This time also he asked me. I said, last year I spoke. Why do you want me to come and speak this time? He said, Swamiji, I would like you to speak. So I am always trying to speak on subjects which are absolutely universal, common, so to say. And my subjects will be always relating to the human mind and human intelligence. When I start speaking of Bhagavad Gita, I speak of it as an administrative gospel. A description or a phraseology nobody has used. But in fact, it is a conversation that took place in the battlefield of Kurukshetra in order to make the unwilling Arjuna to fight, make him fight. So where is the religiosity there? It can be spiritual, all right, because anything concerning the mind and intelligence certainly is not material. Because it is not material, to differentiate it from materiality, we are using the word spirit and spiritual. It does not mean ghost, heaven, etc. Certainly not. Our mind, our intelligence, they are a presence within the human body available to us, for us to access, for us to know, etc. So let us be very clear. Now, the subject for today is mind, its majesty and magnificence. I have been talking about the human mind for months and even years. In my own ashram, in our ashram, for the benefit of the inmates, etc., the same subject of the mind I have been speaking and speaking and speaking. And I am extremely sorry that the intellectuals of our country are not able to appreciate the wealth and treasure of our eternal literature, which always speaks about the potential of the mind, the magnitude of the mind, the possibilities of the mind, how the mind is a treasure, how the mind is an inestimable and invaluable treasure, and we are not able to make that it is so. Wherever people are talking, they only complain about the mind. I would like you not to complain from today onwards. Our mind is the greatest gift that nature has bestowed upon us. If you are able to understand the intricacies of the mind, the functions of the mind, you will find the mind is so important. If the mind ceases its function, then what is going to happen? We will become a vegetable. I always tell people, what is this human mind? Swamiji, whenever I sit for meditation, suddenly so many thoughts come. Therefore what? The mind is not supposed to be restful at all. If the mind was restful, you will never be active at all. So the mind is always a process which goes on revolving between the past, present and future. Any experience, any action, any knowledge whatsoever, it gets added up to the stock of memory. And it is for the mind to bring this memory any time and every time you are involved in one thing or the other, during the course of your activity and interaction. In the process, the mind also has to have a concern for the future. In other words, mind is in a constant state of revolution between past, present and future. And such a mind you want to stop suddenly in meditation? It is certainly not the goal. Our meditation is not meant for that. Our meditation is meant to purify the mind, keeping the mind alive, purified. Any kind of a purity is always welcome. If you want to have milk, it has to be pure. If you want to have water, it has to be pure. If you want to have air and oxygen to breathe, it has to be pure. When you go to a shop, you should get pure. If it is a cotton dress, it should be pure cotton. So purity is not something in the way of a religion. Never understand it so. Purity is a quality. It's a character. It is indispensable. Everything we want in a pure manner. Similarly, we want to be a pure and a noble human. So let us be very clear about it. Mind is always something very great. I always put it in this manner. You have got a mind. When you understand that you have a mind, this mind is going to be the supreme in the whole creation. I will explain it to you. It's enough if all of you come along with me. So I sometimes wonder, is there any subject like mind at all? Are we not aware of the mind? Is it not a common product? We are all dealing with the mind. In fact, the mind actually makes us do many things. So what is there to be so much talked about? My answer will be, there is only something to be talked about, your mind. Nothing else. Mind means everything in our life. Let us be very clear. Now, in the matter of understanding the mind, why Swamiji, you take it up? Only people like us can take it up. You know, in the whole world, the entire world consists of matter and energy. They are gross in nature, perceptible to the senses, all are distributed and spread out outside. Now, the objective sciences can only think of taking up visible external forms of existence. So science by its very nature is objective. And the objective science can only deal with sensorily perceptible phenomena. Am I clear or not? It can discuss matter and its constitution. It can speak about energy, which is a force which acts on matter. The entire world is constituted of by matter and energy. So they can discuss matter, go into it, what is an atom, etc., etc. They can go to further ramifications. Similarly, they can discuss energy and so many other things. But mind you, the science can probe into only objects which the senses can perceive. Now you tell me, whether the mind comes within the object world or it is something subjective in you. Huh? Why are you keeping quiet? The mind is something subjective in the body. Can at any point of time objective science take it up? Never, never. The mind of the scientist is what does all the observation. When he goes on observing into matter, he goes on splitting. Finally they say, everything gets reduced into a particle. And the particle suddenly changes into a wave. And thereafter he says, neither the particle nor the wave is before me. But yet the mind of the scientist survives there. It is the mind that gives the verdict. No particle or no wave is available for me to perceive. Now this mind, can he turn his telescope or microscope and observe it? So how to understand the mind? Well, science always works on two important canons. What are they? Observation and inference. Do you know our spiritual science, our spirituality, Vedanta, the Upanishadic science? It only relies upon observation and inference. Our laboratory is our own human personality. We have no external gadget at all. We don't need any equipment like microscope or telescope. We observe the world. We observe ourselves. We observe our own senses, sensations, sensory perceptions. We try to go into and find out these perceptions proceed from the perceiver or they proceed from the perceived. Am I clear? When I am seeing you, you are seen by me. The whole seeing process, does it proceed from me, the seer, or you, the visible or the seen? This is how we go into. So observation, we call it pratyaksha, and inference we call anumana. Everything is depending upon observation and inference. Because the objective science also completely rests upon observation and inference. The spiritual science also rests upon observation and inference. Tell me whether both are equally scientific or not. Yes or no? If objective sciences are scientific and rational in nature, spiritual science is all the more so. In their case, they have a number of gadgets and instruments to help them. We have no gadgets, no instruments. Nevertheless, we succeed much more than they have done. Objective sciences have never reached a finality or a finale. But spiritual science had already reached the finale, the source of everything, and the ultimate terminus of everything right in the prehistoric times in this country. You are all belonging to that great country whose culture takes us back to the ageless past, the prehistoric level. From there, these findings are there. So, I don't know whether you will agree with me that mind is really a subject which has to be studied, and the potential, the possibility, the magnitude, etc. have to be understood. Is it clear or not? Now, I would like to refer to the conversation that transpired in the battlefield of Kurukshetra between Krishna and Arjuna. In the conversation he says, the entire nature, what do you mean by nature? The whole universe, the creation, is an evolute or an evolution of nature. So in whatever surrounds you, in whatever is there in your personality, including, everything is called nature. This nature, he says, Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhire vacha ahankara idiyam me bhinna prakriti rashtada. The entire nature or creation is eightfold, he says. Are you following me? Huh? Eightfold. And the eightfold, eight constituents constitute nature. What are they? Bhumihi, earth, apaha, water, analaha, fire, vayu, air, and space, akasha. Bhumi, rapo, nalo, vayu, kham. Now all these five are within the gamut of matter and energy. There are three more. What are they? Mano, buddhirevacha, ahankara. Mind, intelligence, and ego. Now these are the eight constituents of the whole nature. These are the eight constituents of the whole nature. And five of them are inert and insentient. What are they? The Panchabhutas, earth, water, fire and different forms of energy, air and sky. These are five. All are external and perceptible to the senses. The other three, mind, intelligence and ego, you tell me, where are they? Outside or inside? And who has it? We human beings have it. Now compared to the external inert world and compared to you yourself, a human, tell me, who is better and who is superior? No answer. I will not allow you to keep quiet, Baba. The entire creation consists of only 8 things. And 5 are outside. And the 3 are inside. And we human beings alone have these 3. Animals do not have them. They have a little, but not in the right measure and possibly. So out of the whole 8 constituents, our body consists of Panchabhutas. In the body you will find all the 5 elements are there. Earth is there, water is there, heat is there, air is there, space also is there. In addition to that, whatever the external world does not have, we have 3 more. You tell me now. Tell me now. A human being, what is his status in the whole world? Tell me what is his status? In the whole Panchabhautik world, is he inferior to the world or is he superior to the world? And what makes him superior? His mind, intelligence and ego. His mind, intelligence and ego. Between mind and matter, you tell me which is superior? Matter is superior or mind is superior? Mind can act on matter, but matter cannot act on the mind. Am I clear? Huh? Clear? Or you have any difference? Mind alone. See, our body consisting of matter and energy. In order to activate this body and employ the body, don't you require the mind? Without the mind, can I lift my finger? Every activity is conceived of and designed in the mind, and after designing it, the mind implements it through the body, and the activity and interaction conclude, and the terminus, the conclusional level, is also in the mind. So the entire body is completely subsisting upon, completely depending upon the mind for its function. The body by itself cannot function at all. Am I clear or not? Agreed? So the understanding of the mind is very important. So this much you have understood. I will go a step further. This is a conversation between Krishna and Uddhava which took place in Dwaraka. Now whatever may be the references, who spoke to whom, that is immaterial here. The subject that is discussed, it is of eternal compelling relevance. See what Krishna says. Atramam margayantyadha yukta hedubhirishwaram grihyamanair gunair lingaihi agrahyam anumanatah. He says, so many beings were created. Single-legged, two-legged, three-legged, four-legged, multi-legged and no-legged. After that, no satisfaction and fullness was there for nature. When the human body was created, very, very happy, fulfilling, the mission is complete. We don't require anybody more than the human being to complete this world. Human being is the last. Why? Every statement is supported by a reason. Atramam margayantyadha yukta hedubhirishwaram grihyamanair gunair lingaihi agrahyam anumanatah. I want to recite these verses and explain. Do you like it? Or can I skip these verses? See, only in this human body it is possible to conduct an inner examination. Huh? Huh? See, we have elephants, we have whales, we have crocodiles. So many other animals are there. Many of them are more powerful sensorily and bodily. But none of them can take up an examination of what is within the body. The entire body is activated, employed, animated by the presence inside, but none of them can conduct an examination or an inquiry into it. Only in the human body we have brain and such other faculties which allow an inner examination.